Now, then, Princess, future queen of the realm, do you think you can handle meeting two of your sisters? It looks like you could use a hot soak, and I'd like some time to speak with Colt privately. You should relax a bit, love. It will be all right, Colt said with a comforting smile. With that, the king whistled, and the one oldest came up to her father, bowing gracefully. Yes, my father, take Vida here to the hot springs. She needs time to settle. Take May with you. She's due for a soak as well. Yes, father. Good girl. Do remember, this is your future queen, so treat her as such. Of course, father. Shall we go, my sister? I nodded. We walked off, as I heard the king begin to talk to Colt. But this girl was filling my ears with soft words. I'm so excited to meet you. It's been a few years since any newcomers. May is the youngest. She's 6. I am the oldest. I'm going on 27. My name is Sienna. Father changed it from Vida, since he didn't want me feeling left out of a new name. May I ask your age? I looked at her hand, pulling mine, then to her long, flowing, perfectly kept red hair. It was so light and beautiful, it made me wonder if my hair had that type of potential. Putting my mind back to her question, I slowly spoke out 23. Really, I wouldn't have expected that. I knew I shouldn't. But I had to ask her why, and the answer was predicted in my mind as the words left her lips. Well, not to worry you, but if you wish to truly know, I shall tell you. There is another here that is 23. Her name is Dita. I felt her grip loosen slightly as I spoke again. Don't you find this weird? She stopped walking. We were surrounded by a garden of flowers surrounding us closely. She grabbed both my hands, turning them this way and that. Then she looked in my eyes as she smiled. You mean us? To tell you the truth. No, I was raised around such things. It's what I know. Father raised us fairly, and with love, he promoted each of our own likes and dislikes. So other than appearance, we are all entirely different to one another. For instance, I'm somewhat taller than the others. My eyes a deeper brown. I have an extra freckle on my arm, just like you have your differences that make you, well, you. But I do feel for you. This is something you're not accustomed to. You know, after a good soak and you're feeling better, we will find you some nice fitting clothes for your journey. And perhaps a dress for tonight. Sister Tira should be close to your size. I was somewhat puzzled as we started walking again. Didn't you say Dita was my age? Wouldn't her dresses fit me? The oldest giggled slightly under her breath. I'm afraid you would look as though wearing a tent, dear sister. Oh, then I realized what she was saying as she continued. Well, if you wish to meet her, you shall see her tonight at dinner. But you see, between us, Dita had special talents. Most of us are fairly well versed in cooking, pottery, singing, dance, the list goes on, but Dita unfortunately didn't find her talent in any of those. What, before I could finish? She continued, she is exceptional at victualling. I so wanted to ask what victualling was, but I felt like I should already know. She let go of one of my hands as she continued to walk with me. Tell me, what are your talents? Well, I can sew some. Well, clearly, you are better at horseback riding than any of us here. The word came quickly of another coming upon a horse, which was very startling to say the least. Are you truly married to our future king? You must forgive my questioning, but you are still very young. Yes, I am, for a few years now. She looked to me, still smiling. Is that customary where you're from to marry so young? Is there any princesses or princes for you both? I looked to her. For the first part of your question, not really. It was just very strange circumstances that led to our quick marriage. And do you mean, do we have kids? If so, yes, we do, she smiled softly as I continued, a boy and a new girl. That's wonderful. I'm so happy for you both. Congratulations. What about you? She stopped for a moment, then continued her walking. I was once married to a boy. I truly fell in love since I was little. He was my playmate from a neighboring village. They traded with us often, and his status was rather high, so both sides agreed it would be a good thing for the kingdom and the village to join as one. I was beyond thrilled when Father came to me with the idea. He knew I loved the man, and we were wed when I turned 20. I too was young, perhaps too young. We were happy for a time, so happy, but years passed, no child came, more years came and went, and he became cold to me. He wanted a child to secure our place in the kingdom. In truth, I knew what he wished. His soft hands at night became rough and angered, but still no child. So one night he disappeared. Nothing was left of him but my scars. I'm sorry that happened to you. It is not just me. Other sisters, though married in love, have not a child. You are the first to accomplish it. Perhaps there's some hope in that. I hope to one day meet your children. I'm sure one day you can. The land is beautiful where I live. I could teach you to ride if you want. That would be lovely. We talked on and off till we reached a rock wall, with streams of water pouring down. The water was steaming and bubbling. Now then, you get undressed and into the water. I will go hunt down May. She is always hiding on bath day. If you need for anything, call for me, and off she went, leaving me to myself for some time. I undressed quickly as I was not wanting to be seen. Naked. I stayed close to the edge so I could jump in if someone was coming. Luckily that wasn't the case, and I slid in. Then turned folding up my clothes to the side. The water was warm and relaxing. I closed my eyes, leaning my head back, letting out a deep breath when I heard childlike screams. I stiffened, straightening myself till I relaxed after hearing the words spoken. I don't want to. I'm already clean sissy. Now stop that. You're covered head to toe in mud. Well, you put mud on your face every night, that's different. And I also take baths every night, so in the water you get, or I will throw you in dress and all know you won't. Oh, wouldn't. Seconds later, there was a splash on the other end of the water. A young girl surfaced, wiping her face off. No fair, sissy, you're bigger than me. Sienna, with her hands on her waist, replied, Well, you're faster than me. Yep. Laughed the little girl. The girl swam over to me. She did look like me at that age, but her hair was blonde, her face still dirty, but then I realized some of it was actually a large birthmark on her face, yet she still looked uncanny to me at her age. Hi, I'm May. I'm 6. Who are you? Some call me Snowfeather. Well, that's stupid. May, Sienna reprimanded, gritting her teeth slightly as May looked back to me. What it is? That's not a name, and feathers aren't made of snow. May grumbled. I thought she was very much like I was at that age with my words. You're right, of course. I couldn't help but smile at her attitude as I continued. My name used to be Vida, like your sister's, but when I was married, it's tradition to choose a new name, and Snowfeather was what was chosen. To be honestly, back then, I thought it was funny too, but now I love it. She stared blankly for a moment. Well, I don't like it. You should be called Azalea. Sienna quickly splashed water over her way as she sat down in on the bank, soaking her feet. Hush now and take your bath. Little May stuck her tongue out playfully, but began to do as she was told in the shallows. Sorry about her. We all do tend to speak our minds. It's one of our common traits, she said with a smile. Me too, so here I go, opening my mouth, but tell me, is May one of us? Clearly am not original myself with you being the oldest. I would think that would be you, correct? The original. No, there were others before me. Really, yes, but they arrived rather sickly and didn't live long, but they were cared for and loved just the same. I was the first to live, though. I still get bad head pains now and then. But we all arrived when we were a few months old, except May here. She arrived when she was 3. She couldn't talk or walk. Her diet was liquid. She was much like an animal. She is still behind in many things, but her mouth has caught up just fine at first. We thought perhaps she was a child that had wandered off from travelers, but with time we could see to many resemblances. And though Father says nothing, I know he worries. There's been no new arrivals, so we are unsure of the reasoning if whoever it is finally accomplished what they were after. Or much worse, well, we did stop the hearts of our town around the same time. Perhaps that has something to do with it. Perhaps I can only hope you're right. She shook the thoughts from her mind, her hair flowing over her shoulders. Now then, let's get you out and dried. I took the time to pick out a dress I think you will like. I know we all tend to look best in greens, but I thought blue would look so lovely for tonight on you. That's fine with me, after drying off and fighting with May to leave the water for some time. Eventually, Sienna had to call another sister to go get her through her giggles and screeches. I dressed in a small room made of stone attached to the wall, but with no ceiling. So the sun came in. It reminded me so much of the tent that me and Colt shared during the snow, just warmer and brighter. When I walked out, May was carried in with a peach-colored dress for another hour. Sienna brushed my hair till all the tangles had been freed. Your hair is much thicker than mine. You must take fine care of it. There are so few tangles, I always get the worst tangles. I thought I'd keep the part about Colt just detangling my hair a few days ago to myself. We made small talk at times, but also quiet others. But once she was done, she stood taking my hand. Now then, let's get you back to your husband, the prince. I smiled to her. I do have another question. Do you have a lion as well? I asked. As the oldest, I did receive a lioness on my 22nd birthday. Father thought she would be a good protector for me. We chose one another, but the madness took her quickly. It was a great loss in my heart. I shall always remember my gem. I fear it may seem I may be alone for the entirety of my remaining life. You know, there are many other lands and tribes, many of different animals, and she interrupted me softly. I thank you, sister, but my home is here. Perhaps one day someone will come and find this place as I have and wish to be with me in love. But until then, I think I shall stay. Well, hopefully now we can come for visits now and again. Sienna smiled warmly. That will be lovely, and I must warn you now, I shall spoil any children rotten that are placed in my path. I knew that smirk she was serious. We went back to the throne room, where the floor was covered in platters of steaming food. Sam was sitting by Colt. Oddly, it looked like Sam was eating the only meat that seemed to be in the room. It was a large leg cooked to perfection, juices pouring from every bite that Sam took. I didn't even realize he could eat. Many people watched as we entered. Colt would had been sitting to the right of the king, stood as the room silenced. He walked over to me. Everyone was staring. I could feel heat filling my cheeks. As I knew I was blushing, my hands felt cold as ice. As Colt grabbed it so gently with his rough hand, putting it to his lips, I could feel his warm breath. Then looking up to me, his eyes wild, he stood and slightly bowed to the clamor of the people, but the king hushed them, as Colt whispered, "You are stunning," as he sat me next to him. Sienna whispered something into the king's ear as he listened intently, then nodded. The king went to his knees. "Now we shall give thanks to the greatest one." They all put their heads down. "Dearest greatest one, with your powers you have given us so much this day to be thankful. My son has finally come, though, for a short time. I had prayed for just a second with him, and you have provided an entire day and night. You are truly the greatest. Not one of us here can accomplish what you have this day. Thank you for the food we shall feast upon. We are but men here." And he looked up. "Now enjoy, children of the kingdom." Everyone looked up and started passing plates. Colt looked rather impressed. "So you believe in the greatest one?" The king looked to him. "Indeed, most of the kingdom does. We have a fine room where all is taught by a teacher of the word. Though we have so few of them, we have more than many others. And that is a blessing. Do you believe in the greatest one, son?" Colt nodded. "Yes. Our herd, for the most part, are all believers. Our words are few, but they are kept just the same. Perhaps we can bring the words together. I think that can be accomplished one way or another." "That is wonderful to heart, thank you." The king clapped his hands as a plate of steamed vegetables and cheeses was laid before me. I hadn't seen such food prepared in such ways before, but my eyes were on all the desserts. One in particular caught my eye. It was pink with white cream and ardberry perfectly in the middle on top. Colt, knowing me better than anyone, when asked what dessert we would have, he picked it. Everyone was looking at us again. It was oddly a flavor I could tell was fruit, but I had never had it before. The king leaned toward us. "This is called mulberry fruit. It is thought to bring great passion to the bedchambers and many children to follow. It is not a dessert chosen lightly." The king whispered to Colt, and Colt smirked, figuring out the looks from everyone and what they meant by them. I knew I was beet red with blush. Now, I don't think 100 will be powerful enough to override what we already have in that department. We already have 2 children, a boy and a girl. Colt said proudly. Why was Colt telling the king this? And in front of everyone, clearly something happened while I was gone with Sienna. For Colt to show so much trust, which was not like him. As I was pondering this, the king stood holding to Colt's shoulder, now standing beside him, "I'm a grand Leo." To a main and a huntress, the group clapped polity with some cheering. I could hear lions roaring more than anything, but I could not see not a one. The king and Colt sat down again. My mane isn't even a hair white yet. I was not one to think of grandchildren, nor could I hope with my other daughter's curse. Colt looked oddly then to me as I gave him the look of, I'll explain later. It seemed as though we sat for hours eating. The food was so good. I had overeaten by many portions. People came and went with dishes, some hot, some cold, but all delicious. I did notice some plates, taken to a room off to the side, and the king noticed leaning over past Colt, whispering to me, "That is for your sister, Dita. She has troubles getting around, so we take the food to her." "I'd like to meet her," I whispered back.